Welcome back. You're tuned into Market Fatafat. But before we get to all the stocks that are buzzing in trade, we'll quickly go across to Murali Krishnan, who's the president of Xiaomi India, who's talking to us about the new launches for the company. Let's go across and take a look at this.
The second half of 2023 showed early signs of growth, good green shoots, continued up until even Q1 of 2024, where we clawed back and now are the second largest smartphone brand in this country. And at this moment, I think I should reveal the fact that in the past 10 years, we have had the privilege of shipping 25 crore smartphones, which is 250 million smartphones in this country. And not just that, 35 crore total devices shipped. That's 350 million devices across various categories shipped in the last 10 years. What an experience it's been. Can't wait to do more of this.
What are your thoughts on how, cutting tariffs will really lead to, in terms of the kind of benefits that will translate for brands like yourselves, for India as a manufacturing hub, and thirdly for consumers?
For India to become an electronics manufacturing powerhouse, for the overall electronics manufacturing industry in India to reach the stated goal of $300 billion, moves such as this, be it incentivizing local manufacturing through production-linked incentives, through tariff cuts, is always welcome. It only helps companies entrench themselves deeply into the component ecosystem, explore more components for localization, and help India march forward towards the goal that has been laid out. So always welcome such moves.
Right. And speaking of components ecosystem and, increasing domestic value addition, I think Xiaomi has been working in that direction. You've also been deepening your manufacturing muscle in the country. If you could also give us a sense of, where does that go from here and what are you really planning?
Our Make in India journey started way back in 2015. It's not just smartphones, but we have localized PCBAs and various other components such as battery, charger, cable, camera module, mechanics, fingerprint module, vibrator module, and so on. So that's a journey that anyway continues. So as of this point of time, if I were to look at the contribution of locally sourced components in the non-semiconductor BOM, that's about 35% end of last year, and we hope to scale that to about 50% in the next couple of years, and we'll do that both by broadening and deepening local sourcing. So I think that's something that's going extremely well, and we'll only continue accelerating that wherever the opportunity presents itself.
And you basically say that premiumization is a trend that will hold on for a very long time, and that is of course being seen in other sectors as well. But when we speak about the value for money segment, Murali, the mid-premium segment as well, what kind of growth do you see for Xiaomi in particular, and of course for the industry, and what is going to drive that?
For us, we're actually seeing growth across all key price points. I mean, for example, with the recent launches in the Xiaomi series, above 40,000 rupees segment, we've had the Xiaomi 14, the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, and more recently the Xiaomi 14 CV. So above 40,000, historically we've had fairly low presence, but in 2024, we've started making a difference to that segment, and there is a certain audience which truly loves our proposition. And then earlier this year in January, we launched the Redmi Note 13 series with the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G, crossing the 30,000 rupee price point, and that's become an amazing success. In the mid-level price point between, let's say, 15 to 20,000 or 10 to 20,000, especially in the 10 to 15,000, if I were to take an example, last year we launched the Redmi 12 5G, which was an absolute chart buster. The way we see this is the 10 to 20,000 segment is no doubt, needless to say, the largest contributor in terms of price bands in the market, and it will probably amongst the fastest growing even for us.
Right. And what is the kind of growth that one can expect from Xiaomi? If you could give us some tentative, number or some sort of a benchmark that you've held up for yourself.
So let me do this in two different parts. One is short term, one is very long term, right? In the short term, if Q1 is any indication, Xiaomi has grown substantially faster than the market. I think it was the Canalys report, which said that the market grew by 15% in volume in Q1, and Xiaomi, amongst the top 5 smartphone brands, has been the fastest growing at almost 29%. So we're growing substantially faster than the market, and we expect that trend to continue through this year. But more importantly, like I said, you know what, we see this as us being able to create 10 years of tomorrow, being the makers of magic. And towards this, if in the past decade we have shipped 35 crore or 350 million devices, over the course of the next 10 years, Xiaomi India aspires to double that number and ship 70 crore, an incremental 70 crore or 700 million devices in India over the course of the next 10 years. And
there's a lot of anticipation around the Xiaomi S-Car, SUC7, and we've just seen that as well, just a glimpse of that. Any plans for any imminent launch in India in the near future? What is Xiaomi thinking about that?
To clarify, the Xiaomi SU7 was showcased today merely as a showcase to demonstrate the power of the human into car, into home ecology, which is the philosophy that Xiaomi is pursuing. Our co-founder, CEO and chairman, Mr. Lei Jun, has very clearly said for the next 3 years, the Xiaomi car strategy would be focused on the China market.
All right, but coming back to the markets then and back to the Market Fatafat, and for now we are being joined by Chandan Taparia on the technical front. So let us welcome Chandan as well as get to know about his first stock. Very good afternoon, Chandan, and thank you so much for your time. Let's talk about the first counter, that is ITC. All these FMCG majors are doing pretty well, and after a long while we have seen ITC finally moving. Chandan, tell us, how are you seeing the move in ITC and what are the next stops that you look out for?
Yeah, so ITC is really doing well. After a long consolidation of last almost 22 weeks, the stock is holding well above 440, 445 zone. We have seen buying interest in most of the FMCG name, including Dabur, ITC, Britannia, and recent consolidation breakout in the counter adds the more momentum led by open interest activity. So one can continue to hold the buying position or can initiate new buying with support of 438, and we are expecting ITC to extend its momentum towards 470, 475 levels.
All right, that's the take coming in on ITC. But with this, viewers, let's move on and let's talk about City Gas Distribution Company, and that is MGL. Why this counter is in focus? On the back of the news flow that the company has actually announced a price hike of their CNG as well as PNG in Mumbai, that is starting July 9th, to offset the rising input costs. Now, MGL will increase the price of delivered CNG by 1.5 rupees per kg, while the domestic PNG will see a hike of rupees 1 HCM. The company did mention this in a statement. Now, for a while now, we are seeing all these city gas distribution companies in focus as well, because as we know that it's the world's first CNG bike launch that happened a couple of days back, and all these companies are also expected to be beneficiaries, especially for MGL. Nuvama had come out with a note and they were sounding really positive on MGL. They have actually gone ahead and raised the target price on this particular counter as well. So that was the news that has been buzzing and helping the stock to react for the last couple of days. But for today, it's the price hike news for CNG as well as PNG that the company has announced, and hence the stock is in focus today.
All right, that is Mahanagar Gas. But moving on, Torrent Power is another counter which is in focus today, and it is on the in focus today on the back of the fact that they have announced the signing of share subscription and shareholders agreement amongst the company ARS Steel and Alloy International Private Limited and Torrent Urja 14. Now, the purpose of the agreement is for the supply of power from renewable energy sources by development and setting up to 50 megawatt power solar power generating projects in Tamil Nadu through open access from the project of TU14 to the production units of ARS. And on the back of this news flow, Torrent Power is trading with gains of over 3% right now.
All right, then moving on, and Snehi, talk to us about Inox Wind. Tell us, why is this stock in focus?
Well, Shrishti, the stock is in focus on the back of an order win. They've bagged an order of 200 megawatts from a renewable commercial and industrial power producer. The order is for Inox Wind's 3 megawatt wind turbine generators, and the scope of the order comprises of end-to-end turnkey execution. Inox Wind will also provide post-commissioning multi-year operations and maintenance services, and the said project won by Inox Wind will be executed across Gujarat as well as Rajasthan. While we don't know the monetary impact of this order and what this order is actually worth, it's still a very positive news flow coming in for Inox Wind. Stock holding up well, 2.3% higher as we speak.
All right then, but let's shift focus to the big mover of today, and that is indeed the largest automaker of India, Maruti Suzuki. What a run-up in today's trading session on the back of a very important news flow where UP government has actually gone ahead and waived off the registration fees on the strong hybrids, and indeed Maruti Suzuki is one of the biggest beneficiary of this particular news. To talk to us more on this, we have been joined by none other than Mr. R.C. Bhargava, who is the chairman of Maruti Suzuki. Good afternoon, Mr. Bhargava, and great to have you. First of all, talk to us about this particular news flow where the UP government has gone ahead and waived the registration fees. How do you see this move incrementally positive for the strong hybrid cars, the promotion of this particular technology in India, as well as do you believe that the other states will also follow the suit after UP government has gone ahead and did it first?
Well, firstly, let me say that this is a very commendable and wise move of the UP government, because it has become quite apparent that the target of achieving zero emission, carbon emission, and reducing the dependence on imported oil cannot be achieved only by electric cars, at least not in a foreseeable period of time. And that alternative technologies are required, because otherwise we are producing pure petrol and diesel cars, which are much more polluting than what would be the case if these cars adopted technologies like hybrid or CNG or biofuels. And Maruti has always been saying that the government must encourage all these technologies, adopt alternative routes to, in addition to electric cars, to get to our goals in the area of emission and substitution of imported oil. And I think the UP government is to be commended, because it is the first government which has actually taken this step of encouraging hybrid technology. West Bengal, incidentally, has also reduced the prices on CNG cars. So they have also realized the importance of alternative technologies. I do believe that this step taken by these two states will make other states also think about their policies and the validity of what is being done in these states, and that will lead to the country moving faster towards our national goals of clean energy and clean transportation.
All right, Mr. Bhargava, I just wanted to understand from you, since what the numbers that we have till now is that for FY24, Maruti Suzuki actually sold around 16,000 of strong hybrids all across India, and we are aware that the company has more such launches lined up, as you are one of the first movers in this particular technology. But Mr. Bhargava, UP actually did contribute around 1,000 units of sale for FY24 as per the dealers. But Mr. Bhargava, which other markets could be bigger for the strong hybrids and for UP specifically? Any insights or any expectation of this particular sales to go up substantially?
I think the importance of this step has to be viewed in a larger context. Because firstly, of course, this will have a short-term impact in increasing sales. I'm not sure by how much. But as I said, the impact on other states. What will happen to policy? Because once policy starts recognizing that you have to encourage alternative technologies and not only one technology, then that has a much bigger impact on the future development of vehicles and the extension of cleaner technologies to smaller vehicles and to mid-sized vehicles and not only to the top-end vehicles. So I am hopeful that this is only the beginning, and this will lead to a change in the whole landscape in relation to the use of alternative technologies.
Talking about alternative technology, Mr. Bhargava, the company has been quite vocal of the reduction in the GST rates in order to push the automotive sales. Other than that, CNG as a technology is something that the Maruti is one of the leaders there and has been vocal about that you want the government to take steps and more initiatives in the times ahead. The budget is upcoming, Mr. Bhargava. So would you like to once again tell the government or put forward to the government that indeed it could be a big step or a booster for the CNG sales, or do you hope that this could be in the making and maybe the government is looking at this tax cut on the CNGs very closely?
We continue to interact with government, and besides CNG and hybrids, we are also pushing very strongly for biogas and ethanol. We think those are fuels which are been produced from our own natural resources within India. They have no import content. They are going to create a much greater impact on emission and the atmosphere than any other source of energy. And those also need to be encouraged. So we will continue our dialogues, our discussions to try and make more and more people realize that there are different ways. India is different from other countries. The amount of biogas potential we have in India, nobody else in the world has. The kind of agricultural waste we have, the kind of animal waste we have, who has? Nobody in the world. We should utilize that. So we are talking to government on these lines.
All right, and lastly, Mr. Bhargava, at the current situation for the industry, what we are getting to understand that all in all, the inventory level is quite at elevated level. Any comments that you would like to make at this point regarding the inventory levels in the passenger vehicle industry right now, since what we are getting is that the companies are coming out with some discounts as well in order to gain some more traction. So your view on the same?
The retail sales in June were not as high as was expected. And generally, people are attributing this to the severe heat wave conditions which prevailed all over the country and kept people from visiting showrooms and doing test drives and such things. I'm hoping that now, with good rains coming and weather changing, that sales will pick up. At the same time, I think at least some companies will adjust their production so that the inventory levels with the dealers come down, because high inventory levels with dealers hurt both the dealers and the automobile companies. It's in nobody's interest to push vehicles to the dealers and then keep them there unsold.
Right, and lastly, Mr. Bhargava, since for today the big news is the UP government going ahead and actually taking it a step ahead in this direction. Before I let you go, Mr. Bhargava, this 1,000 number in UP, if you can give us a sense that how much incrementally this number or substantially this number can move in the times ahead. And also, Mr. Bhargava, since you are in discussion with multiple states, any state that you believe that this policy could be a game changer and the state should look at this, getting this policy of waiving off the registration fees all in all, and that could be a big booster for the industry? Any state name that you wish to highlight?
No, I would. Now, what I would like to say is that both the center and the state governments should review the whole approach to achieving carbon neutrality and reduction of imported oil. And in doing so, they should look at the alternative technologies, the merits of alternative technologies, and then frame policies to encourage these technologies in terms of their impact and result which we all desire. There's a common objective of getting to that end.
All right, Mr. Bhargava. We just wanted to get your take on. Do you believe that which states could actually, for now, which are the states that give you the most of the sales for the hybrids, and the government is also inclined to. Lastly, if you want to share some thoughts there, Mr. Bhargava, that will be great for us.
No, I wouldn't like to speak on specific states at all.
All right, totally respect that, Mr. Bhargava, and thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and giving us your view on how this could be a big policy boost by the UP government that has already been declared, as well as going ahead how this could actually push the strong hybrid sales in India, as well as starting with the UP, how this push is coming in for the industry. Thank you so much for your time. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break in this edition of Market Fatafat. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're tuned into Market Fatafat. Before we get started with the stocks that are in news again, let's go across to Mr. DP Singh, who's the Deputy MD of SBI Mutual Funds, who's joining us on the AMFI data that's just come out. Hello, Mr. Singh. Welcome to Market Fatafat. Mr. Singh, first up, the first snapshot of the AMFI data that's just trickled in for the month of June. Tell us, compared to the previous month, how does that look like? First, weigh in on that.
Oh, it looks very good. I mean, people are putting in money after the results. See, people have got a lot of confidence, and there's a good money which is flowing into the equity funds. So, of course, out of 40,000 crore which we are talking about, almost 21,000 crore comes through the SIPs only. But yes, there's a more confidence, more trust in the market, and because of the policy continuation, I think we'll continue to have more flows, not only from domestic market, but from outside as well.
Right, Mr. Singh, we see the small cap and the mid cap, we see strong inflows for the third straight month. However, for the large cap funds, we're seeing, the inflow has been rather muted for the, third straight month. Tell us, when can we see this picking up? When can we see the inflows picking up for the large caps?
I don't think we should be worried about the large cap getting inflows through mutual funds or not, because otherwise also the large caps, whenever FIIs are coming and or the international players are coming, they first get into the large caps. That may not be coming from the mutual fund platform, but the larger companies are also getting flows. And more money, which is especially passive side, in any case, into the large cap. We may not see the large cap category itself having flows, but the other funds also, even you talk about the mid cap and small cap, every mid cap and large cap has some percentage of large cap stocks also. So don't look at the numbers just in the large cap category, but large cap stocks are getting quite good flows.
Shrishti also joining in, just like we were interviewing you, we have the SIP data as well, and for the first time ever, it has indeed crossed that 21,000 crore mark as well, and definitely it's a jump on a month-on-month basis. But Mr. Singh, just wanted to understand that since you also mentioned and gave your take about the small and the mid cap, but there's been no stopping in the terms of inflow. So any more insights that you can give us? Do you believe that the momentum is strong still after the kind of run-up that we have seen in this particular index specifically? And do you believe that this momentum will continue on? And also the thematic and the sectoral fund inflows also goes past 20,000 crores for the month gone by, though there has been some NFO impact. But what's your sense that now the market is also looking forward to some of the thematic and sectoral funds? This theme is also picking up?
Yeah. I think the funds will funds will continue to come, because you have to understand the SIP book per se is more into mid cap and small cap funds. So when we look at 21,000 overall, if 14,000 is coming to that mode, so that will automatically come.
Singh, thank you so much for joining us on Market Fatafat. We'll let you go on that note. But Chandan, I'll come to you. Alchem Labs is what you've picked out for us today. Tell us, what are you seeing on the charts for this one?
So we have noticed that a couple of pharma counters are doing well, and Alchem has given a consolidation breakout of last almost 26 days. It managed to hold above a key hurdle of 5250, and high rise, high lows is clearly visible on the daily chart with hold of is 50 RMA. So positive move could continue with support of 5200. We are expecting this momentum to continue towards 5500 zone.
All right, Chandan, with this, we'll let you go on that. And thank you so much for all the time to Market Fatafat for today. But with this, it's time to wrap this edition. It's a goodbye from me and Ankita and the entire team who put the show together. Thank you so much for watching.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.